Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to High Quality Trades. This is the channel where I provide top-notch technical analysis of the stock market. We go over simple support and resistance levels, trend line breaks, and pattern formations. And I give you the price targets of where price is headed in the coming days. So let's get into it. In today's video, we will be going over the SPY, the triple Qs, the VIX, GWW, ASML, Adobe, and HD stock. So first up, we got the SPY on the 4-hour time frame. Today, the SPY closed at 560.62. It reached a high of 562.11 and a low of 554.73. We were positive 0.34% on the day. Alright guys, what is price currently doing? It looks like the SPY is trying to fill a gap out on the daily time frame that doesn't fill until around 565.16. If price manages to come up and fill this gap tomorrow, that is bullish for price to continue pushing higher into new all-time highs. But the longer this gap remains open, the more bearish for price. If we are going to get any attempt by the bears, it would be at this level to push price lower. So if we fall tomorrow at all, below our 200 period moving average on the 15-minute, we will have support here at 559.77, and if that level broke, we wouldn't have support until 555.27. But as long as we remain above the 200 period, this is bullish for price to continue pushing higher. I believe we are in positive gamma territory, so any attempt by the bears will most likely be met by the buyers to buy the dip. Ultimately, the SPY is in this falling broadening wedge pattern that has broken out towards the end of last week. But if we do get a full pattern completion of this falling broadening wedge, that does signal for price to reach upwards of the 575 level in the coming days. So I'm looking for a price to push through this gap fill area in the next couple days and continue pushing higher in the market. Okay, that's it for the SPY. Let's go over the triple Qs. The triple Qs looks like it's trying to build momentum to fill its gap out on the daily time frame. It is a pretty big gap, so building momentum is probably ideal to push price higher. Our MACD has curled over and started creating purple bars on the histogram, but this looks like a consolidation period and not a pullback. If we go into the 15-minute, price is above its 200 period moving average, this blue line here, and we are continuing pushing higher. As long as we remain above the 200 period moving average on the 15-minute, it is bullish for price. Now, the triple Qs also has a falling broadening wedge pattern that it's trying to get a full completion of. This falling broadening wedge fills at the 490 level. So I'm at least looking for a price to hit that 490 level before any pullback or any resistance from the bears. But if price does manage to fill this gap, it is bullish to continue pushing higher in the market. The longer this gap remains open, the more bearish for price. Alright guys, that is it for the triple Qs. Let's go over the VIX. So the VIX has gotten back above what was resistance here at 1537. So now that we are above the 1537 level, it does look like we've pushed up to our next resistance level at 1723. So if the VIX wants to continue pushing higher, it needs to break through the 1723 level and then come up. The next resistance level would be 1933. I do believe that price has gotten above its 200 period moving average on the 15-minute. So this is a very cautious period right now. If this wants to continue pushing higher, that is bearish for price. But if we get back below the 200 period, then that is bullish for the market. Alright guys, now let's go over GWW. Now this stock back in July broke a descending trend line on the daily time frame. We did get some bullish momentum in the market, and we pushed towards our resistance level here at 972.12. Price has been consolidating around this resistance level for the past couple weeks. If we go back into the 4-hour, with today's price action, it looks like we're breaking our upper descending trend line of what looks to be a pennant pattern on the charts. This is bullish for price to continue pushing higher in the market as long as we stay above this descending trend line here. We are back above the resistance of 972.12, so this should act as some support now that we're above it. Does look like price is trying to fill a gap out on the daily time frame that doesn't fill until 1008. So ultimately, we're looking for a price to break through the 990 level and then come up and fill this gap on the daily time frame. Once this gap fills, it will act as some resistance, so that will be a good time to get out if anybody wants to trade this. And then I would ultimately be watching this stock to continue pushing higher up to this 1021 level. And then if we do get a full pattern completion of this pennant, it does signal that we will be breaking through these highs here and reaching up towards the 1048 level. With today's price action on the daily time frame, it does look like we're about to start curling up on the MACD and then creating green bars on the histogram. If tomorrow morning we get our first green bar, that is bullish for price to continue pushing higher in the coming days. Okay, that's it for this stock. Let's go over ASML. Now, ASML has a falling broadening wedge on the charts that did break out yesterday. Let's see, actually, when was this? Broke out on August 19th. So I think that was like last Friday. Anyway, so with this break and then the retest of the descending trend line here, this is signaling for price to continue pushing higher. Looks like we are getting our first green bar on the MACD here, histogram, and that is bullish for a couple more bars to continue pushing price higher. On the MACD daily time frame, we're trying to push through the zero line, and if that happens, that will be bullish for price momentum to continue in the coming days. So if we do get a full pattern completion of this falling broadening wedge, this is signaling for price to push upwards of the 1089 level. So we would be filling this giant gap we have out on the daily time frame if we get a full pattern completion. Right now we're looking for a price to stay above this 943 level. If we can stay above this, then we should be headed up to 960. As long as we break above that level, then we should be trying to go out and fill the gap on the daily time frame. Starts filling around 980, but say if I was to buy this one, I would go into the 15-minute, come tomorrow morning and just buy wherever the price is at, and then follow this 200 period moving average. This would be my stop loss. So once price gets below this, that's a valid exit. But right now we're just looking for price to continue pushing higher and this moving average to continue its upwards momentum. Okay, so that is ASML. Let's go over Adobe stock. So Adobe has broken out of this falling broadening wedge and price is continuing pushing higher. If we do get a full pattern completion of our falling broadening wedge here, it does signal price to reach upwards of 598 in the coming days. We have gotten above our first resistance level here at 562, and we're remaining above it at the current moment. Price is reaching towards the 570 level, and we need to get above this level to continue pushing higher. If we go into the 15-minute, it does look like we're above this 200 period moving average, and it is sloping upwards. So this is bullish for price to continue pushing higher. As long as we remain above the 200 period moving average, then there's no reason to be bearish on this stock. If we do go out onto the weekly time frame, we do have a longer term descending trend line that price is trying to break out of this week. It looks like from these highs back in January, to these highs here of July, we've created this downward sloping trend line. Now, if price does break out, then we are first trying to break through resistance here of 580, and we could go up to test these highs here at 638.25. That's if we get a bullish break on the weekly time frame. Right now, I'm just looking at the daily and the 4-hour for price to reach up to that 580 level. But I will be very bullish for price if we do break that longer term weekly descending trend line for price to continue pushing higher. Alright, so that is Adobe stock. Let's go over HD just for fun, because this is one I talked about a few weeks ago, and this was just a cool setup. So what I first noticed on HD stock was this double top formation, and then we did break below the neckline, so this was a confirmed double top. That did signal, if we got a full pattern completion, that price was going to head down towards this 327 level. So with earnings, we did get that full pattern completion of the double top, but then also as the pattern was playing out, we formed a falling wedge pattern. And after earnings, we actually broke through the descending trend line of the falling wedge. So then that signaled for price to reach upwards of where it hit today, which was, I was saying, around 369, 370. So today we actually broke above the 372.69 level, which was the highs of this second head right here. And this is a full pattern completion of the falling wedge. But this is ultimately bullish for HD stock. If we get above 372.69, we should be pushing higher. We should be headed up to this 388.50 level in the coming days. That's what I'd be looking for as a continuation of this bullish pattern. Okay guys, and with that, that is the end of this video. Thank you for watching High Quality Trades. I'll bring you another video in the coming days. Thank you. Goodbye.